Today, we're going to show you how to patch a tire and a tube. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind is that when you patch a tire or a tube, it is a temporary fix. And as soon as you can, you should put a new tire if you patch the old tire, or put a new inner tube if you patch the old inner tube. Now, to patch an inner tube, the first thing you need to do is figure out where's the leak. To do that, put air in it. Now you can see right there is the hole. Now as this tube is losing air, that hole is closing up. And when this tube is pretty much flat, that hole is going to close up to the point that you're not going to be able to see it. So what I like to do is put air, and while the air is in there, get a pen and I put two lines. I put one here, and I do another one here, and where those two lines intersect is my hole. The reason is that as soon as you start sanding this down and putting glue on it, you're not going to see that hole anymore. But you can see the two pencil lines because hopefully you drew them far enough away that when you rough up the tube or put a cleaner or glue on it, it's not going to cover those lines up. So now that you have your two lines, you can see where they intersect. What I like to do next, and mind you, this is probably the best way that you could patch it, but if you're on the road, you may not have everything here to do what I'm doing, but at the very least, you're going to have a patch kit and a pump and tire tools. But at this point, what I like to do is get some White Lightning Clean Streak and spray a little bit on a rag and use it as a cleaner and just clean off the area without hitting those two lines that you drew. The reason you do that, when tubes are molded, they put release agents so that when the mold opens up, the tube pops out easily when it's manufactured. The release agent is still on this tube, and if it makes the tube release from the mold, it's going to prevent a patch from sticking as well as it could stick. So put a little bit of cleaner, and that'll take off some of that release agent. Next, you're going to need a patch kit. The one that I like using is a REMA. The reason I like to use a REMA patch kit is because the patches that are in here are what's known as a tapered patch. The reason I like REMA patch kits is the patches are made from two different rubbers that are laminated together, and you can see like an orange outer portion of the patch and a black inner. This patch has an edge that tapers. So all the way around the outside, it is paper thin. And as you get more towards the center, it gets thicker. That's important because if you use a patch that's the same thickness all the way around, every time your wheel rotates, it's going to thump. So you don't want to do that. So you're going to use a nice tapered patch. When you open up the patch kit, you're going to notice there's a little piece of sandpaper in there. And what you're going to do with that sandpaper is you're going to lightly rough up your inner tube. All right, and you can see where the two lines are, so that means the hole is somewhere about right there at the corner of the paper. So you're going to just get your sandpaper and just rough it up a little bit. Now you can see how the tube is getting a little bit lighter in color where I'm sanding. That's your key that you're getting it clean. Just lightly blow the dust out of the way. Next, there's a little tube of rubber cement that's in the patch kit. So just open it up. On the opposite end of the cap, there's a little pointer that you can use to puncture the tube of cement. So next what you're going to do is find your two lines, and you're going to lightly smear rubber cement on here. Now, if you have trouble putting a nice thin even coat down, put a little more than you think you need to, and you could use the back of that sanding disc and use it like a squeegee and just kind of like wipe it down. So you want to put down enough glue so that that entire patch is covered and there's more glue than patch. So you want to cover an area about like that. All right, so you can see that's maybe 1 inch by 1.5 inches. So the patch that's in there will be covered all the way around with glue. Now this is going to take about 3 to 5 minutes to dry. And your clue as to when this is dry enough is when it's no longer shiny. Now don't blow on it to dry it because your breath has humidity in it, and that's going to prevent a good stick between the patch and the inner tube. If it's a sunny day, put it out in the sun or just move it around in the air a little bit and that'll dry it down. All right, that's looking pretty good, so we'll let that sit for another minute. Next, you're going to get your patch, and it has like a foil backing to it, so you're going to peel that off. So starting in a corner, if you just bend back a little bit, grab the plastic, grab the foil, and you're going to peel the two apart. Now you want to be careful that you don't touch the back of the patch. The back of this patch is very, very clean, and oils from your skin are going to prevent this from sticking as well as it could. Okay, next. You can see your two lines, you can see where they intersect. You want that point to line up with the middle of this patch. So you're going to pop that down. Once it's in place, with your thumb and forefinger, you kind of want to squeeze it, and you kind of just want to like push it around a little bit and manipulate it. Do that for about a minute, you know, making sure that you're pushing down evenly all the way around. Don't want any part of the patch to feel left out. Okay, so once you've done that, you can peel the clear plastic part off. There you go. And you can just make sure the edges are stuck down. All right, so that's what you're looking for. That's a really good patch job right there. At this point, try to resist putting too much air in the inner tube before it's in the tire. What's going to happen is if you put a lot of air in this, the tube is going to stretch and expand, and that nice glue joint that you just put down is going to get holes through it. Everything's not going to expand as evenly as it should. But you have to put a little bit of air in it in order to get it inside your tire to put it back on. So just put literally that much air and insert it into your tire. Once this tube is in the tire and you pump it up fully, the air pressure inside this tube is going to push the tube against the tire. So that pressure that you just did squeezing it, as good as that was, you're not going to be able to squeeze it down as hard as the air pressure is going to push the two together. So, like I said, try not to put too much air in it until it's in the tire. Once it's in the tire, you can pump away and you should be fine. Now, like I said earlier, you don't want to use this as a permanent fixture. As good as this is patched, it still is not as good as a brand new tube. And absolutely, if you pull a tube out and there's a patch already on it, don't put a second one. It's just rule of thumb, don't do it. That's how you patch the tube. Now, in terms of patching a tire, it's a similar process. You find the cut that's in your tire. Okay, this cut here is about 1/8 of an inch. The rule of thumb is that if you can look inside the hole when you're pushing from the inside with your fingers, if it opens up, then you probably are going to want to put a patch on it. To patch a tire, 2 ways you can do it. If you have your clean streak, which most people don't carry on a bike ride, but if you have it, spray a little bit inside the tire and get a rag and wipe it out. When this tire was made, they used the same release agent inside here so that it didn't stick to the mold. And then you're going to get something like this, which is a tire boot, they call it. It has an adhesive backing, you peel it off, stick it up inside your tire, and you're good to go. Now this is a thin film for the same reason that your patch has a tapered edge, so that as it rides around, you're not going to feel that thumping. This is a good product, but if you don't have a tire patch, what you can do is get a dollar bill and fold it down until it's about that big and stick that up inside your tire, and that'll get you home. Now, there is another option for patching an inner tube. Park makes a pre-glued patch kit. So this eliminates the need to have to clean the tube, glue the tube, wait for it to dry, and put the patch on. With this product, you just peel the back off, stick it down, put it back inside your tire, pump it up, and you're ready to go. These are a great temporary fix. They're very fast, easy to use, but it's not as good of a repair as using a rubber patch kit with adhesive.